people, I'm the anime hero, and I review manga so you can read it. Today I finally speak about one of the greatest horror manga, and possibly Go Nagai's best story. If you haven't seen my review of Mao Dante, I recommend you watch that first to get a better understanding of what you're about to get into. Devilman is a horror manga series created by Go Nagai in 1972. This manga has become a source of inspiration for Kentaro Miura's Berserk, and some characters from the Darkstalker series are modeled after Devilman characters. Another source of Devilman influence is in the series Hell Teacher Nube, where the authors Makura Sho and Takeshi Okano cite Devilman as a horror reference. Hell Teacher Nube even includes the character Miki, who is Devilman's girlfriend, although she was portrayed much younger in this series. Devilman has also played a role in pop culture as the song Supercharger Heaven, performed by White Zombie aka Rob Zombie, is actually about Devilman. Further evidence are his live concerts as they featured footage of the Devilman OVA. The series has also reached popularity in Italy and has created multiple sequels and side stories, but for now we'll focus on the original story with some history of its creation. Devilman has been released in several formats throughout the past 40 years, so depending where you're reading it, you may come across special pages or different panels, but the core of the tale is still the same. While the moral of the story is about anti-war, Devilman wasn't originally as thematic. After the short success of the Mao Dante manga, a producer of Toei Animation requested Nagai to make a superhero similar to Mao Dante. Then came forth the idea of Devilman, a devil with the heart of a human. While both the anime and manga premiered around the same time, they each contained different plots. Devilman TV focused on the demon Amon who possesses Akira's corpse. The moral of the story was one of evil versus evil, and how a demon can learn to love as Amon becomes a traitor and fights his demonic kin to protect his girlfriend Miki. The manga storyline is very different, and not as superheroic as its anime counterpart. Even though Devilman was published in the weekly Shonen magazine, the readers of the manga were an older age group than the viewers of the anime series. So, Go Nagai felt that his readers needed a more realistic story. This changed the Devilman story from an episodic superhero to the end result being a psychological horror filled with warnings of human arrogance. It's also interesting to know how much work was put into the anime before the manga even premiered. While the manga debuted before the anime, the production time it took to make 39 episodes should be taken into consideration, as it could take several months in advance to even create a single episode. Evidence of this is Go Nagai's short essay of the creation of Devilman, which he states, "I discarded the evil versus evil paradigm of the TV series for one in which the human hero takes over a demon and throws himself into a human versus demons war for the sake of mankind. I also added a character, Ryo Asuka, a friend who drags Akira into the world of devils. With Ryo, the story developed in surprising ways. This is fascinating as the added character of Ryo Asuka already premiered in the first chapter, and the final sentence saying, the staff of the TV series were rather thrown off by these changes. They later lamented that the TV series could have been more interesting if the character Ryo Asuka had existed. This implies that the anime production must have been near its completion and couldn't make time for changes. So that completes our Devilman history and onto the actual story. Devilman begins with a view of the past where angels and demons fought each other for dominance. We then cut forward to the future where archaeologists are exploring the Himalayas and then jump ahead one more time to see our main character, Akira Fudo. Akira in our first meeting is quite cowardly. He's so cowardly that his girlfriend Miki Makimura is protecting him from delinquents. But along comes their saving grace named Ryo Asuka, Akira's best friend. After saving them is where the story heads into its plot. Upon asking for Akira's help, Ryu explains that his father committed suicide and left behind an inheritance of terror. In short, Ryu's father found proof of the existence of demons and they are getting ready to attack humanity. Ryu further explains that demons in this series have the unique ability of merging with other creatures, which increases their power. According to Professor Asuka's notes, the only way to save humanity is to become a demon. They must let a demon possess their body and hope that their human will is capable of controlling their inner demon. This quickly leads to a plan to seduce demons to merge with them through the usage of a black Sabbath, and after some trial and error, Akira succeeds in merging with the demon hero Amon, turning Akira into Devilman. He's Devilmanly! The following chapters briefly follow the anime route, where Devilman just goes around and fights demons for about half the series. However, the remainder of the book now focuses purely on the mature theme of paranoia and anti-war. But before we get to the heavy stuff, let me elaborate a bit of the beginning of the story. Initially, Akira was just an innocent boy with a pure heart, but lacked the resolve to protect those he cherished. With the successful control of Amon, Akira has now become Devilmanly! Akira is so Devilmanly that Miki has become his #1 fangirl, saying lines such as, "Akira smells good! Ah, the smell of manliness!" You can tell that this point of the story is more about fun and games, where Akira expresses his change in personality. He's now confident, daring, shameless, but has developed a side of cruelty. This newly reborn Akira now has acquired a taste for violence, and often looks for opportunities to let himself loose. In a way, he has become more like his friend Ryu, who would take extreme measures to get what he wants, such as his attempted murders during the Sabbath. Akira and Ryu then decide to hunt down demons who are in disguise, which delivers a metaphor to the reader. It isn't until the very end of the series that you understand how Devilman is a symbol for anti-war, but this early idea of merging with a demon is a good example. Go Nagai used the concept of merging with a demon as a metaphor for the military conscription, or better known as the draft, where people were forced to join the armed forces. This can be seen with Akira being pulled to Ryu's plight, and returning as a soldier who's seen hell, and did his own share of merciless killing. As a result, Akira's become obsessed with carnage that he desires conflict to happen, as seen with the arrival of the demon Siren, where Akira's waiting for the bell of mayhem to ring. So aside from that little message and its dark storytelling, the first few chapters don't offer much in quality other than violence. In fact, almost the entire second volume is filled with nothing but fights. Thankfully, the series starts to return to its darker roots by introducing the turtle demon named Jinmen. Jinmen is a vile beast who enjoys eating humans. However, he eats humans without killing them, which allows their souls to nest on his shell, where they lament in their sorrows. There is no salvation for them, only death can set them free. This scene bears a superhero scenario where a villain takes people hostage and the hero is left to make a tough decision. Devilman fulfills the cries of the victims and puts them out of their misery. But from this point onward, the story abandons its superhero role and steps into psychological terror. This is the part where I can't speak much about it, so I'll do my best to avoid the heavy spoilers. Basically, multiple demons have begun their extermination of humanity by disguising as humans. This is where paranoia begins to show itself with a very gruesome chapter involving the death of a child. Now let's take a step back and think about this. The year is 1972, and we have a series about an anti-hero who battles demons where gore and nudity are present in a kid's magazine. Since this series was published in the weekly shonen magazine, this technically makes Devilman a shonen. A shonen where we see imagery such as demons with grotesque genitals and corpses such as a beheaded boy. Now this is fucked up. Obviously, displaying these events in a kid's comic, even for a horror series, was just too much. There is no way this would be shown in a shonen series today. Very much like Go Nagai's Shameless School, which ran in Shonen Jump, I'm certain the PTA weren't too happy about Devilman. However, what at first seems as pointless violence would later come full circle. One of the pages that everyone should be wary of is when a fictional character starts threatening its audience. My dear readers, up until now you had fun reading my adventures. You read of how, after arriving at the gate of Ryu Asuka's home, I began my journey across hell, together with you. Up until now you read the story of Akira Fudo. You thought you had nothing to do with the story, however, from now on, you too will start traveling through hell. From now on, hell won't be just my personal drama. All of mankind will be involved in this tragedy. And you are no exception. Hell is waiting for you too. Much of Devilman's content is very chilling, but this particular page just gave a sense of anticipation and mystery. The scene has become an iconic part in works of Go Nagai, which would later be referenced in Violence Jack and Shin Mazinger Z. In other words, when a character starts talking to you, it means something fucked up is about to happen. In the following pages, the Devilman series introduces a gargantuan demon known as Xenon, who proclaims the arrival of Armageddon, and in a single minute, you'll understand what makes this series a horror masterpiece. Once you continue to its last chapters, you will experience unforgettable tragedies and a plot twist so grand that you'll be left thinking about what you just experienced. I went on long enough, so let me conclude with my final thoughts. The Devilman manga starts off as a dark shonen series which featured demons, but this serves to drop your guard once the more horrendous plot makes its presence known. Even when the series gets serious, there's still some comedy to be found, but it's never too distracting from its horror element. While it was made in 1972, there's something about the artwork that really stands out to me. I'm not referring to Go Nagai's character designs. Old manga doesn't bother me in the slightest, but what I want to elaborate is the layout of certain panels. Some pages are filled with surrealism, silhouettes, and other times express pandemonium by having several panels displaying events occurring all at once. I noticed in Go Nagai's manga it tends to have this flair for the dramatic, and would often change styles to better represent the conflict of the story. In one example is the manga Susano, where misery can be seen in an instant, and other works where he expresses rage such as Maldante. This style of drawing can also be found in other manga, with the best example being Kentaro Miura's Berserk, where you can see a resemblance in style. In short, Go Nagai is a fascinating writer and artist, using impressive techniques for telling a story. While not every single one of his manga are masterpieces, Devilman delivers Go Nagai at his best, which makes him one of the greatest mangaka even to this day. Once you finish reading Devilman, I highly recommend you to read Go Nagai's essay, which explains the creation of Devilman and his personal thoughts about the story. I'm the Anime Hero and I review manga so you can read it.
The Devilman!